Hello, and welcome to a very special corner episode. I have sometimes spied, called and created many political favourites, and created a very villainous plot to bring out these people from the far corner of the world. We have the creator of Aerodrome, Gilder Unfettered.
Heyo. Of course, I'm not going to pass up on this.
Joining him is Shinonaut, responsible for the music and sound production of Aerodrome.
Just to be clear, I'm not responsible for that music. That was all Gilder's fault. But as I said in the intro, hi, I'm Psychonaut. I look after all the music, as Abby said. And fun fact, I am also the guy responsible for the ship name for the MB tournament.
Ooh.
Yes. I Sundari White.
Much to Briggs' annoyance.
And finally, we're welcoming back Brick JT Hardcastle and that amazing beard. Oh, that's the second time I saw it. It's just so amazing. He helped Gilder with several design elements and storyline, as well as providing voiceover for Aerodrome.
Yes, I also casted the first Aerodrome, and hopefully the second one as well. And by the way, that music Gilder was playing, he plays that before, like, all our competitive matches.
Every fucking time.
Every fucking time.
It gets you in the mood.
But what are the other teams thinking? That's what I'm wondering. Anyway.
Well, they don't count.
If our viewers have any questions about Aerodrome, please ask away, and we'll answer them when possible. Now, in a short bit, I will be showing the trailer for the first time of Aerodrome Sky's repetition. We will do a recap of Support Your Aerodrome, which is the first Aerodrome that happened. Take it away, Brick.
Right, the story of the first Aerodrome. A certain outlaw airship club called the Bully Boys engineered a artificial war between Yesha and Anglia for the purposes of selling weapons and mercenaries. And in this war, there were involved the Juicy Gents, the Merry Frauds, VSS Cake Squadron, the Crimson Rhino Riders, and mercenaries who jumped from both sides. At the end of the great battle, it turned out the strongest from the Yeshans was the Merry Frauds, and the strongest from Anglia was the Crimson Rhino Riders. In the end, the Crimson Rhino Riders prevailed and won the war for Anglia, and that was the story of the first Aerodrome.
Wow. So now we go over to watch the video. Sit back and relax.
The retreat order had been sent, and the Yeshans were falling back under the onslaught of the Anglian offensive. All but the Merry Thralls, who pressed on in vengeance to face Anglia's Crimson Rhino Riders one final time. Neither side knew the truth.
Never would have thought a band of simple voyou and harm's dealer would be able to bring so much destruction.
Oh, you know we are. Not all simple. I take it you enjoyed the show.
You're quite right. Have it here. We did. I take it you're ready for the next step.
Is the fleet ready?
Close. The Baron are preparing the people, her allies are falling in love, and now it's only a matter of time.
Just say the word and we'll deliver.
Then I charge you, avec l'autorité des Barons. Bring a surprise. deliver us our quarry. Give us the sweet retribution that is rightfully ours.
And our agreement?
I do believe Faberia will have a new baron soon.
Excellent. Retribution shall be yours.
The battle was over. The Crimson Rhino Riders had won. All of Anglia cheered for joy as a call proclaiming the victory rang out across the frigid nation. The unstoppable tiger had retreated with its body beaten and its face bloody. Such blood and death came at the price of a fistful of dollars, which now lines the pockets of those who drove it to such a fate, those who then remained in the shadows.
Alright, I'm here. I was just in the middle of finding out where a Baroness hides her dagger.
Her husband's backside, sir?
Very clever. I'll remember that one. So I trust this is important for you to call me all the way out here.
Yes, indeed it is.
Well, out with it then.
Right, you remember that last glorious battle over Anglia? The one where the VSS sacrificed themselves so majestically for the tiger?
Ah, the epitome of Yeshin heroism as they died to protect their comrades. We made a lot of money off that battle. What of it?
Well, I regret to inform you that there was a survivor.
Yes, there was a few here and there. What of it?
Normally I wouldn't care, but that survivor happened to be one of ours.
Oh?
Yes, you know how these things go. This man talks to Anglia to save his own hide, and Anglia winds back to Yesha.
Is that all?
Well, sir, they are preparing to forge an alliance to bring vengeance upon us. It's quite obvious to them our role in all of this. This traitor has thrown a pretty large spanner into our plans.
And what makes you think they're a traitor?
So, this was a ploy?
All in good time. Now return to your station and wait for the fun to start.
What have you got up your sleeve?
To reap what I have sown and to take our rightful place in this world.
The truth has been revealed. Grief has turned to anger, anger turned to hate, and hate has brought about a turn of events which is unthinkable. With the wounds still mending, Yesha and Anglia have forged an alliance. The Northern Pact has been established. Though wounded, their unity in vengeance is unshakable. They will crush those who have manipulated them from the shadows and get revenge for their fallen. Such desire has now brought the fledgling alliance to the baronies.
I don't like it. It's too quiet.
Yeshans are such cowards.
It's not cowardice. It's logic. The Fjordlanders didn't even question our crossing their border. There wasn't even a single ship of the King's fleet.
No, the barons are too lazy and busy fighting each other than managing their own realms. That's how we slip through and strike this fast job.
Still, something doesn't feel right. These criminals should have seen us coming.
The beauty of a dawn raids. Scum are probably still in bed. They did fancy a wake-up call.
You Anglians, so needlessly brutal.
The base is clean. They're gone.
That can't be right. They still have ships docked.
Incoming warships!
Whose colors?
Fjordlander lowlife.
No, those aren't just any lowly Fjordlanders. That's...
To the lowly scum down there, cowering in fear, consider this the pinnacle of your pathetic short lives. Bask in the glory of true greatness before you die.
Hello there, little quarry. You thought we had forgotten you. Maybe some did, but I know my father didn't. He thought of you both every day, all these years as he sat on his throne, ruling these lands. He thought that we'd wallow our lives in Fjordlands, while you, Yesha, sat in your ever-expanding cradle of power, drunk on the suffering of others. And you, Anglia, you were bastillions of ice and metal, fondling your trinkets, all the while ravaging our lands to fuel your lust. You fools, so full of yourself, you couldn't even see how easy it was to turn your guns against each other.
Then you were behind the whole thing.
Scumbags.
Behind it, I wouldn't stoop so low as to dirty my hands with such peasantry as you. Not even my father would stoop to such a level. That is below our family after all. A ruler delegates power and responsibility to those worthy. And I must say, they've done a fine job at making you both look quite foolish. They've even delivered the unified little pat here that carrieth the radiance.
All of Yesha shall hear of this treachery.
An angler will bury your kingdom under our keels.
Idle threats from weaklings like you do not scare us. There's little you can do to stop our retribution. My Lord Baron of Ravenbrook, you may dispose of this filth from off my land.
With pleasure. All the guns, tear them to pieces.
Fjordlanders, I'll fabricate them and feed them to our slaves.
Easy. There'll be time for that. First we have to get home. Warn our governments.
But Lord Sleep is right near. We can take them.
We have no fleet.
That never stopped us.
Yeah, well, your kind is special, like that. But together, we have to be careful. Our fleet still haven't recovered. We must regroup. Besides, we really shouldn't have survived that. Their shots...
Ah, you're such a killjoy.
Quiet you. Let's just get moving. See if anyone else survived.
News of the Fjordlanders' attack spreads fast. However, greeted with this new foe, this act solidified the resolve of the young alliance. Neither would bend their knee to the Fjordlanders, and a wounded animal is most dangerous when it is cornered. Rally cries went forth throughout lands bound by the Pact. All able ships and captains were called up. Even those far too young or those past their prime answered, and ships that were once cargo haulers now outfitted weapons. They knew the barons were on borrowed time, with their resources limited and their fleets unable to travel the distance to strike targets they needed to hit. The Pact must move fast before another foe emerges.
Surprised we're joining them, but it does feel nice to finally take the fight to those Anglians.
Ugh, you said it. About time we paid them back for all the years they've raided us.
Cut the chatter. We've got to get these appliances there by nightfall, or this conflict is over before it even starts.
Chaladon has sided with the barons. The Black
Okay, calm down, guys. Boss has never let us wrong, has he?
True, we aren't making spatulas right now.
Oh, that can be arranged if you'd like. But I think we should look forward to our new base.
New base? Is the king giving us more land?
Something like that. We've been offered an area in Rich Forest, nice and secluded. A perfect location for a new clubhouse for our perfectly legitimate airship club. However, it's more accurate to say we're getting our own kingdom.
Seriously? You're getting your own kingdom?
Maybe, if we play this right. This war will get quite bloody. Who knows how many barons will need to be replaced by the end of it. We have a new privateer contract based on our last performance. Wouldn't you agree that the Baron has a much nicer ring to it than mercenary?
Baron, I can get used to that.
I shall claim Athens Club.
Not so fast. We still have much work to do and another war to steer in our favour. When this is over, we shall see who claims what. Till then, let's make another killing, shall we?
Yay!
That was very interesting.
Right, yeah, so there we have it.
I don't know too, it was very enjoyable. It's a shame it's not Kenyan. I wouldn't mind if that's official Kenyan. Wink. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink, muse, nudge, nudge, say no more.
Smoke
So
signal.
yeah, I mean, as you can see, I mean, Gilda's put a great deal of time and energy into the story for this.
Yeah. Wow, such backstabbing, much treachery, so dirty. What happened
he's
there?
a bit late there, I'm afraid.
Brick, you want to do that one or me?
Go ahead, Gilda.
Well,
we don't have any CP
basically,
maps
basically what happens is the Baronies they're entering this event, and
I'm gonna jump through from the-
Chaladon's coming with them, and the Baronies are sort of they've kind of been agitated, to say the least, at Yesha and Anglia over the years. Anglia raids them. Yesha's like the major.
Oh man.
Oh,
Saskia,
dear.
Oh, we
I think
lost
we
him.
just
Goddammit.
lost Gilda there. Yep, there goes. Bye-bye. Oops. Okay,
I'd
Hi,
argue to
Gilder.
say
Hi,
that
Gilder.
Nightfire was better than Gold.
Oh wait, hang on. You heard,
Is he
you
back?
heard a peep.
okay, Owner's back.
Oh,
I'm coming back in. I don't know what
He's
that
coming back
was.
in.
I had to, wow.
I don't know what that was.
Completely back. I had to ask Brick, did you sell your soul to Satan and bathe in the blood of 42 World of Warcraft virgins?
No, I did not.
So how come you're so handsome?
I guess I was just born that way. How can I say?
I think everyone's going to be sad to hear that.
Oh.
I think they really like the idea of you bathing in the blood of 42 World of Warcraft virgins.
Alright, well, whatever you're into, I don't judge.
Okay, so what's the background lore behind Aerodrome Scales of Retribution?
Oh, the background lore is, see, we were trying to manipulate the war. In the first one, we were trying to manipulate the war for our own means, and you didn't get to see my character very much, and I only have like one line in the entire trailer, because I'm sort of the guy behind the scenes that's sort of manipulating everything in the background, and Brick's sort of, he's the face guy. He's the guy with the face, he's the guy that talks to the group. manages everybody. And so in
Yeah,
Aerodrome 2, we're getting to see more of the background where I've been manipulating not only Yesha and Anglia, but also the baronies as well. And the baronies, they're not really happy. I mean, we know what we know about the lore of the baronies is that they're resource poor, but I believe they're advanced or something. I don't know, but they get attacked by Anglia quite often, so they don't like Anglians to begin with. Yesha is a very opulent nation. They're the big rising power, and there would be reasons for the baronies to hate them as well.
Oh, okay.
So, in this, that's what I kind of wanted to explore in this, was where Yesha and Anglia and the baronies, the interactions between them, and sort of bringing out that I've sort of...
Wow. That's a lot of
Well, I bought
plotline going on back there.
Both a month ago actually, but I only downloaded it yesterday and played like a match with both.
So that. Sorry, I think that I didn't mute the voice on the game Guns of Icarus. Some mistake today. I'm just tired. And so moving on.
I don't know why it keeps messing her up.
So or not, the music is awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Is there any inspiration behind it? What did you pull from?
It's kind of a mixed bag, really. Like, basically, a lot of what a lot of the work I do, at least when I have films like what Gilder gave me, it's basically just loaded into my software. I use a thing called Logic Pro X, and then just see what comes to mind when I'm playing it. Now, I'll be honest, there was one sort of major influence on it. I've been listening a lot to two guys that I'm actually massive fans of, a group called Two Steps from Hell, to do kind of orchestral kind of music. Well, I say orchestral, it's really just two guys messing around with a load of software synths that make it sound like an orchestra. So I had been listening to a lot of them, particularly one of the tracks that I really like about them is a track called Archangel, which is after album. I think they released it like 3-4 years ago, something like that. And it has this really nice kind of epic sounding uprising beats with. So I'm just like, yep, gotta replicate that in whatever way I can. Aside from that, there's not really much inspiration per se, aside from like the original script that Gilder gave me and the film that I got.
Yeah, I give it all to him. I don't have any input. I say, Seiko, it's yours. Go nuts.
That's usually how most things go anyway.
Does a great job too.
Oh, cheers.
Okay, so, and you're in it too, Brick. So what do you think about what happened?
You mean story-wise?
Story-wise, from your perspective as the character.
As a character, well, my character, Brick Hardcastle, I see him very much as the public face of the Bully Boys, just kind of, telling everyone we're just this nice charitable airship club, and all the scandalous things are, being said about us just complete rubbish, and I'm the one who's like shaking hands with politicians and that kind of thing, while Gilda's back there stirring stuff up. I think it's I just think it's really cool how just this story that Gilda's come up with, and he's allowed some of my input into it, just to insert my character and a bit of Bully Boys lore into it as well. I think that's really great.
So the Bully Boys are very heavily involved in this project, and I understand they are the bad guys, aren't they? What's their lore for Aerodrome?
Yeah, we're the bad guys. Brick was the one that originally came up with sort of the background behind us, so I'm going to let him handle that one.
Well, basically, the idea, I think I've said this a bit, so I'm going to be fairly quick about it. Bully Boys, this kind of political organisation, sort of semi-political, semi-gangster, semi-kind of, just sort of airship club. And they sort of use their power to kind of influence and bully people like Bully Boys. That was actually a term in the early 19th century used for kind of gangs that had sort of used their thuggery to gain political power. And that's kind of the idea behind the Bully Boys, and that's kind of what they're doing in this tournament.
Yeah, that's where the story's starting to move. Is that now we're sort of looking for power amongst the barons, because the barons, I've opened up avenues with them, and I've worked my way into the political spectrum of the baronies. So that's why there's hints that we're getting land in Ridge Forest, because the barons are looking to expand, of course, and we're going to be new barons, hopefully, if it all works out.
And we're just there making a killing off of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
I have to say, I did actually notice some reference. The most obvious and famous one being Star Wars. Are there any more references, or are you going to leave them to be found by the players?
There's a lot of references to different things, even in the first Aerodrome. The first Aerodrome had references to Space Above and Beyond. There was 1 week where I just called it Above and Beyond, and nobody figured out what it was, and I was telling Balana about it, and she couldn't figure it out, and then I finally told her what it was, and she looked it up, and I was saying, you have to watch this show, it's awesome. So, I think I've used Firefly references maybe once or twice.
Firefly, I love Firefly. I'm sorry, keep going.
Yeah. Hudson Hawk references actually the spatulas line, which is used in the first Aerodrome and used and reused in this one. That's basically right out of Hudson Hawk. And Hudson Hawk, he's getting out of prison, and they're asking him about what's he going to do, and he's saying maybe I'll go straight and make spatulas, sort of thing. So it's reference to that. The Star Wars line, I think we used a Star Wars line or two in the original Aerodrome. The recent one in this video, that's from the Old Republic original launch trailer, I think. I kind of pull things from here and there.
Yeah.
And the Fistful of Dollars line, that is direct reference to the Clint Eastwood westerns.
Yeah, so, someone says tank episode is the best episode. I have no idea what they mean, but apparently the best episode.
In
That's
the
Banana,
Above and
she could be
Beyond.
referring to Above and Beyond, yeah.
Yeah. I love the Chiggy von Richthofen episode.
Yeah. So, how did Aerodrome come about?
Aerodrome, well, to understand how Aerodrome founded, hang on a second, this audio cable here. How Aerodrome started was basically rooted with the visual novel team that's been in development on the Guns of Icarus forums. And we came together, QWERTY founded that, and I was talking with the guys last year. I was talking with them about, it would be great to have like a 3v3 tournament. It would be great to have something where it's like CP battles, something really big. And so I was bouncing ideas around, but nothing really solidified until I was working on in the visual novel team, because I did the Baronies story, I did the Anglian story, and then during the time of Aerodrome, I was looking into the possibility of doing the Yesha story. And I didn't really originally plan to do that, but I ended up doing it anyways, and so a lot of the ideas for the original Aerodrome were sort of coming out of that, where the Yeshas and the Anglians and something that's going on between Yesha and Anglian. So we built the story based on that. It isn't directly lore from Muse at all. So we get a lot of questions on that. Is this from Muse, this lore? And I said, no, it's not lore. It's not from Muse.
Not
it's
yet.
basically
It's not, yeah. As noted in the video, it is not canon. I think a lot of us would love it to be canon, but it is not canon.
Do you mean a cannon or a canyon?
canon.
Okay, sorry.
Oh,
so there's quite a feast. So how did Aerodrome go? And what sort of thing did you learn to bring forward to Skies of Retribution?
Well, the first Aerodrome, what we started out to do, we started out with a simple concept with CP battles, and then it sort of became something more. We started looking at the idea about, okay, we can do a scoring system. How do we make it so we can get everybody into an event and not have it so heavily relying on individual performance, but on the main faction as a whole? And so we took that from there, and then I was like, well, gee, we got to do something for this event. What are we going to do special that's going to make it different? And that was, wait a minute, we can make a movie based on this. We can do an entire score. We can get airships. We can tape it in Guns of Icarus. We can bring in voice actors. And so I started gathering voice actors. And the original Aerodrome I was hoping it would have launched around November, December. But what we learned from the first Aerodrome is working with voice actors can be a hit and miss situation. And we had some that we had to put off till like the end of December, early January. So we ended up having to launch in February, just because we had so many problems with the video production. And that's a lesson anybody that wants to do a similar event where they have a whole video production. I mean, you got to be tough and get stuff done. I mean, if you don't get stuff done,
and that was just a 6-minute video. Like it wasn't like the 15-minute video that we did for this one.
Yeah, this 15-minute video took probably, I think, a month to 2 months to record it, and that was we only took like a day or two to get all the scenes and the lines together. But it's just trying to get everybody to record, trying to get the voice actors, and you have to work around people's times, and so that's why in this event I try to allow more time for that. I tried to plan ahead. Okay, when are we going to launch? Let's shoot for November. I talked with Dan Lito and them, and he said, yeah, November works. So it gave us plenty of time to get the video in, plenty of time to get the rules set and everything else hashed out.
Sweet. I don't think many people have a composer for these sorts of things. What got you both to join forces on the Aerodrome project?
Do you want to take this, or will I take it?
I can take part of it, and I can toss it to you.
Yeah, go on. Might as well.
It was a visual novel team again. I brought Siko on to the visual novel team because we were looking for somebody to do music for it. And he had a couple themes that we were thinking about using for the visual novel. In fact, the original Aerodrome theme was a theme that was going to be used in the visual novel, and it still might be. We're not 100% sure.
It's a bit hit and miss at the moment. I'm deciding what to do with it because I know, like, I want to use it in the visual novel at some point, but I don't have an initial plan for it at the moment. It might just end up being the credits music because it's at the moment it's no longer visual novel music; it's the Aerodrome music. Being perfectly honest.
Yeah. So I kind of brought him in, then I asked Siko, "Siko, you want to?" So we took it from there.
Pretty much. That was pretty much what happened in a nutshell. Like, I was just floating around. I hadn't made music in a while, and I just said, you know what, I might as well get back into it. So I just put together something very brief. Binary Control is what it's called, what's now known as the original Aerodrome team. I just tossed it in the group, and I was like, hang on, we can use this for the Aerodrome. And I was like, yep, sound, might as well. And the rest, as they say, is history.
I've been hearing a lot of talks about virtual novel. What's virtual novel about? What's going on there?
Visual novel is basically QWERTY, and he made the first initial thread to it, and it's on the Guns of Icarus general forums where we talk about building a visual novel based on this game. And so he went to Muse, and he talked to Muse, and Muse said, you know what, go ahead and do it, go nuts. And so we started building the story, we started gathering artists, we started working things out to build a visual novel in Guns of Icarus. And it's sort of still been going. I mean, we've had some off times because real life happens, and we've had people that have come and gone, but
it's a labor of love, let's just put it that way.
Yeah, we have about 5 out of 6 arcs done right now. We have Berenice, Anglia, Yesha, Arashi, Guild are done. Chaladon has just started. We had to get a new writer for it, but it has actually finally gotten going. So that is starting.
Yay.
So, how much is there tie-in between the virtual novel and Aerodrome?
Little to none. The original thread posting from QWERTY, he did list some of the initial ideas, because I basically, when they were first launching ideas, I sort of said, you know what, I'm just going to write a whole bunch of story ideas based on a summary and arc it all and do all that stuff. So I did like 4 hours one night and put it through it to QWERTY and said, hey, you want this? Take it. Then I got on the team that way. But for Aerodrome, it was sort of like when I was doing the Yesha arc, because I had just come off of doing Anglia arc, and so I kind of had a feel for the world. I was still kind of stuck in that area of the world when I was doing the story, and I figured, you know what, I can maybe turn something out of this. There isn't too much crossover with the visual novel, if any. I think the only crossover right now you're seeing in the Retribution trailer is the Baron of Ravenrook. I kind of. I use one for I use his character in the visual novel, but this isn't the one. In this one is not the same. I don't think it's the same. Although it could. I don't know. It depends on if we want to ever do that someday. But I just kind of threw it in there because he was a king character that I had done.
There's something interesting about Sky's Retribution in comparison to support your Aerodrome. There are 2 new features to the rule set. One being Weekly Commander, and the other being VIP Game Mode. What's these 2 about, and is there any more new stuff to Aerodrome?
Yes. What I'm going to be posting later, I was originally going to post it before, but since this was early morning and I had to wake up, I completely forgot about posting it to the community. But I'll post it after this stream is over, because I want to do a public preview of the rule set and kind of get ideas from everybody else and do a last minute, okay, community, you guys, here's what we got so far, look it over and tell us what's wrong, what you don't like, what you like. But Weekly Commander is the answer to a lot of the teams from the first Aerodrome were asking, hey, we'd like more control over the event. We want to be able to set up the matches and be actually like we're in this story. And so I was thinking about that idea, and I initially thought, well, how are we going to do this? Because if you give over control to teams and to people in the community, there's a potential where they may troll each other or assign certain teams. Well, you're not good enough to handle the CP battle, so we're going to assign you to the deathmatch battle, or something. So I figured, you know what, that's just a lot of problems that could potentially happen. We're going to avoid that. So, but I didn't give up on the idea. I was like, you know, I want to find some way to make this work. And so when we looked at the scoring system, I looked at that and I decided, you know what, something can be done with this. So Weekly Commander basically is that you set up a certain amount of resources from the pool and it is spent each week. And from that, the captains, one team is selected from all the teams that are for each side, and they get to select which options they want to choose. So say they want to hire guild merchants to boost their score in the CP battle, they can. Now on the flip side of that, there's also a opposite effect, because there's a bonus tier and there's a counter tier. And the counter tier is like you can set up in case the other side decides to do something, or in case in case they're trying to do merchants. What you can do is you can hire Arashi to attack the merchants to basically get rid of that bonus, or say there's a scoring or like a time bonus for a match. The other side, if the commander just so chooses, he can select like a thing that negates that option. So we have like a list. You're going to see it later, and it'll detail every single item, how you counter, and ultimately you can pick like 2 to 3 options from each tier, and there's a total of 7 options, I believe. So, and there is going to be a cooldown on that, and you're not going to be able to pick every single thing the same every week.
You have to spread it out.
Yeah, it's going to be spread out, and that's why we're going to run it an extra week or 2 longer, just so we have at least 5 weeks to give teams a chance to play with the Weekly Commander and kind of get into the story themselves. VIP is the main little game mode that originally I previewed it last year with a Red Skies thread. Red Skies was the prototype for this Aerodrome. And what I wanted to do with VIP was I was thinking, well, wait, you can use the scoring system that we developed in the first Aerodrome to make a new event. And the trick was, how do you balance it? How do you get players to do a VIP mode when you don't have it in game? And so when I post a link later, you'll see what we kind of come up with. hopefully it's going to work. We may try and do a test run on it. I've talked with Cake and the Iron Fork. They may be going to test it for us this week a few more times to make sure it's all going to sync well. But literally what VIP is, it's going to be a high-speed battle. You're going to have about 10 minutes to take down an enemy VIP captain. And the VIP captain is going to be marked, and of course, weekly commander can influence that. So if you choose to, there's an option that if you want to hide your VIP, then when they go into the battle, unless the other team has a counter to that, the VIP name is going to be removed, and you're just going to have to figure out on your own who the VIP is from that. So, but it's going to be a high-speed, quick 10-minute battle. You get in, you hunt the VIP down, you kill them. Once the VIP is dead, you can keep on killing to get extra points, but after 10 minutes it's going to be called, and we're just going to try and run hopefully it's going to work okay.
Okay.
Or maybe run a few of those, but we'll see.
Well, you never know. If it's pretty popular, it might actually get included by news with the unofficial rule start, so...
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Wink, wink.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wink, wink, nudge going on here. I think there's some sort of disease going around. I think we call it the wink, wink, nudge disease.
I originally previewed it in Red Skies for like a 2v2 mode, but this is going to be a 3v3 version, so I don't know what could ever be done with it, but it's going to be a test to see. It's going to be a first time it's ever been done, and that's why I'm going to give the event to the community to preview first, so they can add their input.
Okay, is there any other new stuff in there? Or is it just those two?
Mainly those two are the two big things other than the lore that we developed for the story and the background. Everything. We're going to be... Aerodrome will be doing team deathmatch. It's not going to just be CP, so there will be team deathmatch in it. There is a scoring system for that. Other than that, yeah. We're going to try those two new things.
And it's going to be fun.
So, did any of you expected Aerodrome to be popular on the Guns of Recruit community? Why do you think that is?
Would I be killed if I said no?
Not. It would be a very slow and painful death.
No, I thought that there would be I thought there'd be a good few sign-ups for it, but I didn't think it'd be as popular as it was. Like, I thought it was just going to be a case of like, oh, here's 4 clans, fair enough. But no, we got a good few out of it, so I'm not complaining.
I wasn't sure where it would go. I really was like, well, this is the idea, and you know what? Let's just see it. What happens? Let's try it. Let's run with it. And in a way, this is kind of what, because when you look at Muse's adventure mode ideas, this is kind of what I'm. In a way, it's like we're having to wait for I don't know how many years until adventure mode comes, and this is like sort of a way that we can do adventure mode in the current game, because literally that's what they detailed, is that you can fly for different groups, fly for different factions, you can pick your side, and you can go at each other, and your events change. You basically make your own story, and so that's kind of what we're doing. I don't know if any concepts are going to be shared in that, but it is a rich world. It is a rich lore, and I love the lore behind Guns of Icarus world, especially since I got working in the visual novel. It's like when you're dealing with it directly, you're sort of like, oh, this is really good. This is really awesome. And you want to.
It's rich, and a lot of it is community driven as well, like, which absolutely adds to the atmosphere around guns. I feel anyway.
Now you did say with the weekly commander that you wanted to do something where the team couldn't troll each other, and I'm more in my head. I was thinking, I can't see Guns of Icarus trolling each other. Actually, I can't see them not trolling each other. It's that good a community. We just love each other. Okay, we're just gonna mess with them.
Well, one of the big things about Aerodrome that we encourage from the beginning is that do in-character taunts and stuff during matches. So, like, say you Anglian scum or you Yeshin pigs. We encourage the teams, hey, get into the character, get into the story, because you're supposed to be on opposing factions, but try to keep it to that extent. Don't start going after each other in real life or making the comments like really nasty and stuff. Otherwise, we'll have to step in. So,
Attack the
and this
comments,
is
not the comment poster.
yeah, this is like a PvP online community, and PvP online communities are always going to have some degree of friction in them, some degree of drama between teams, and so you have to just kind of build with the mindset that you're going to hopefully not run into that, but you're just going to take actions to sort of lessen the impact that it might have on an event.
I think, though, I mean, you've got a really good community. I think on the whole, people participate, for the most part, they know each other, they're friends or at least acquaintances. And I think everyone...
And even if they're not, like, they're professional about it, like...
Yeah, I mean, there is a sense... Though, I mean, there are rules in place, I think, to stop teams from, bad conduct. I don't think we'll need them, to be honest.
No. Yeah.
Fine.
Okay, it is the only event right now that implements the role-playing aspect, and it's community-based, which is pretty cool, with the comment by Bianna.
Thanks, Bilana.
Okay, let's see, I think I missed a question somewhere. No. Oh, we actually still got about 10 minutes. And I hit the end of all the questions. That's amazing. Is there any... That bird said, in any situation there'd be a mod there, so nothing goes out of hand.
Is Redburn here?
I don't know. I'm questioning the fact that if the mod is Redburn, isn't it almost guaranteed it will go out of hand?
Sure.
Refburn's actually very responsible in his moderating duties. Contrary to his often strange personality, he's very professional when it comes to moderating. Very, very professional.
Right. I still think he's very hot. But anyway, let's move on.
You and me both.
We can do some personal questions for Gilda and Cyanot. If you want to know what Brick's answers are, you can go back to the Buddy Boys, where he was also in. No, so we don't mean to. We can stay quiet. We can tuck him around the corner. Sorry, this side.
Shameless
Tuck him
plug.
around that corner. Okay. What's your favourite map, guys?
Gilder, do you want to go ahead?
That's a tough one because I have a few.
Okay, Gilda, you first. Cyanot. So, Gilda, what's your favourite map?
I think the original build of the Parisian Rumble was probably one of my favorites. It had a mixture of everything. It was large, it had some open spaces, and it had short close quarter spaces. I really enjoyed that, and then they shrunk it down to size because people were getting lost in it. They couldn't find each other, and I hope they bring that back into a 3v3 someday. I'd really love to do a 3v3 of the original one again. Aside from that, Canyon was probably one of my favorites, along with Fjords. I have a lot of good memories on both those two maps.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I'm in the same boat as Gilder. I don't really have like one specific favorite, but one that kind of stands out for me is actually the first map that I ever played on, which is Labyrinth. I think I was in a match with like a load of random people from a clan. I think it was like the FX clan or something like that. It's not one of the not one of the clans that would be most associated with the competitive scene around here, but it was one of those random clans. I can tell you my least favorite map, which is Desert Scrap by a long shot.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that map.
There's everything wrong with Desert Scrap. I can rant on about it, but I won't.
There's mines. You have mines. Mines make everything better.
Have you lost Gilder?
Okay, so what's your favourite ships? Gilda? Favourite ships?
Here we go.
Did I hit a sore note here? What?
I'm gonna be very nice. So put it very simply. The 1.1 squid. That's it. I'm not going to say anything else.
You are not elaborate.
Okay. Well, I think we lost Dinonaut.
I guess I will have to speak more then.
No! You've opened the Pandora's box.
I can.
Pandora's box. Oh, that's a Doctor Who.
I've had
that
a
episode.
few different ships. The Squid was actually the ship I hated the most originally, and then I decided in the original game when I first got it was like I hated the Squid so much. It was so weak, so flimsy. If you rammed into anything, it would just come apart in the air. And then I finally decided, you know what? I'm going into the practice match, and I'm just going to play around with it a bit. I'm going to learn this ship. I'm going to figure out why it's in game. So,
okay. Yeah,
and we lost
Dino, and he's going to come back as soon as he can, I think. Hopefully.
Ask the remaining questions to Gilda, and hopefully Psyche will get back.
Okay, so... Oh dear, now everything got ruined. Ah!
Back,
well.
but in greater numbers.
Yeah, so the limitations of our open broadcaster software. Apparently, I'm not supposed to ask you about the Squid.
Technically true, because I'll probably take up the rest of the time on going over the Squid, so I would definitely probably switch to something else.
Okay. So what's your favorite class?
Pilot.
Pilot?
I've always been pilot. It's when you get into the game and you start flying, it's like I started with gunner for a friend of mine, and then I went to engineer for him, and then he finally got tired of piloting. He wanted to do something else, and so he told me, "You're going to pilot." And I said, No, I'm not going to pilot. I don't feel like piloting. And then he handed me the controls to the helm and said, "No, you're piloting now." And I'm tired of piloting. And I took over, and then he never got the controls back.
Yeah, it is a very popular favourite, as in because you get to keep a lot of control.
You get to do everything. You get to have the most fun. You get to maneuver the ship. You get to
Boss the crew.
Set up the engagements.
Boss the crew.
Yeah.
Kick them out off the ship.
That's only powder monkeys.
You can also whip them.
True. If you have mines.
Yeah. And what's your favourite weapon? I'm guessing mines. I don't know why. I'm just guessing mines. Is it mines?
Mine. Yeah, mines. Right now, mines.
It's just one thought. It was like I had this feeling, and I'm. So why mines?
Mines can be in the hands of a good gunner and a good pilot. Mines can basically, they can do. Here, he's back. He's back.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Okay. But we finished this question.
Mines can control engagements. They can set up everything, but you need a crew that can handle them. You need a pilot that can handle them. To set everything up between the pilot and the gunner, you have to have two people that are basically in the same
mindset.
Yeah, the same mindset. They have to think the same. They have to know what the pilot's going to do. They have to know what the gunner's going to do. You got to know the mine placement, and that's where mines gets really tough, is trying to master that. And I've taken a lot of time with our guys, and we've worked with it for a while, but it's still rough. You can still hit yourself with
sword.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when it pays off, it's so beautiful watching those hits go on. And if you line up a whole bunch of mines around a ship and then shoot the last mine, then they all explode at once, and the ship just
yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And so, getting back a few questions, what's your favourite ship, Sarnot?
Favourite ship?
Yes.
Probably the Pyramidion. It's probably the easiest for me to pilot, and I just know it like the back of my hand, whereas I'm not familiar with the likes of the Mobula or the Junker or anything like that. So, yeah, Pyramidion.
Yeah, what's your favourite class?
Class, engineer, always the engineer.
Yeah, why is it your favourite?
It's just the one that I'm most used to, really. To be honest, I sometimes play it on I sometimes play on gunner. I played on pilot about 5-6 times. It's just the class that I'm most used to playing with, and it's the one I have most fun playing with. Whether or not the pilots have fun playing with me is a different story, but we'll save that for another story.
Okay.
I'm definitely
what's your favourite weapon, Silent?
Favorite weapon? This is ironic considering considering I said my least favorite map was Desert Scrap, but I always go for the mine launcher.
Mine's is suitable for any map, not just Desert Scrap. It's suitable for any map. Apart from Dunes.
Dunes.
I could find a way to make them work on Dunes.
You probably could, couldn't you?
I don't use them very much on Dunes because I don't like to. I really hate Dunes. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a few questions on Twitch. First one is, what's your favourite colour? And we asked Brick this because he doesn't. I don't know what's his favourite colour last time. So, what's your favourite colour, Brick?
I quite like green. Also, purple's quite nice. I suppose.
Purple.
Yeah. it depends. It depends. What combination of colours there are, really, more than just what colour it is. You know.
Okay. Your favourite colour, Gilda?
Blue and green, or like a merger of them both, like an aquamarine.
Not?
I'm gonna go completely opposite from what the guy said. My favorite color is actually red. It's just the one that I use in pretty much any logos or any branding that I do. It's just my favorite color. There's no other explanation for it.
And another question is, Panda the Doctor asked Brick, what's his favorite cake is?
I really like chocolate cake, but recently, my sister made me a mint chocolate chip cake for my birthday, and it was brilliant. I really want to have another one of those because I've only had one.
Everyone wanted to ask Brick questions. Brick, what is your favourite panda?
Well, that would have to be Dr. Panda Frost.
Okay. This is just trick questions now.
Yeah.
There's the red
Drop
panda.
out the call for 5 minutes.
There's a red panda and a normal panda. Normal. Oh, okay. And of course, there's Panda the Doctor.
Yes. Yeah. Well, definitely Dr. Panda. My favourite panda as far as pandas goes.
Yeah, and they wish you happy birthday.
Oh, okay. Well, oh crap, I'm 29.
It's Brianna. It's Brianna.
No, stop making me older.
Okay, that accent, is it Irish?
Yes, it is Irish. How did you guess?
So I guess they got a good ear.
You could say I'm the token. You could say I'm the token Irishman in the Bully Boys.
I wouldn't say that, actually. Yeah, to be honest, I got a bit of Irish in me as well.
Okay. I think we've got time for one more question. What lore would you like to see fleshed out or made canon?
Our lore?
I
asked you this. I have asked you this question last time, Brooke. So we're moving on to Gilda and sign up for this one.
I don't think you asked me this exact question.
Oh,
I think you asked me
a
all the
new one.
others.
No, you haven't. Because it was a new question from when I did Go Water Thoughts. Okay, so yeah, what lore would you like to see fleshed out and made canon?
I'd like you to maybe give me a cameo role in Adventure Mode. Maybe I could be a random NPC. I don't know, that'd be nice, but I'm not going to hold out any hope for that. I would just like
number 5, which dies in the first 10 seconds of scene 3.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'd take anything, to be honest. Yeah, I would like some of the stuff that me and Gilda have come up with to maybe be included in just some tiny one sentence way in one random quest. I don't know. It'd be nice, but I'm not gonna hold out any hope for it.
Okay.
Don't get your hopes up, that kind of thing.
So, Gilda?
Oh boy. Because I work on the visual novel team and we deal with this and we know, okay, this technically isn't going to be true, or it's not. It has to be. Everything we have to do gets to be approved with Muse. So Muse has to see it eventually. We haven't gotten them our any of the outlines yet or the stories. They have kind of looked at it, the initial paragraph summaries or things that I sent them, but I'd kind of like some of that to be eventually added.
Okay, and Sano?
Well, I'd like to thank Gilder for stealing my answer, but there's actually a specific, I'll say, storyline within the virtual novel that I'd like to see make her. How did you know? How did you know?
I think he realised you were passionate about the Baroness. I think he knows you want to have an affair with her.
No, it's not that far, but no, it's just what's it called? I don't want to give too much about the virtual novel away because I know for a fact either Gilder or Qwerty will actually kill me for this. But there's one particular storyline in the virtual novel that I'd like to see, made into lore someday at some stage. So that's all I'm going to say for that.
Some of it is public, but if you look at the public doc for the visual novel team, we do list basic ideas for the story, but most of those ideas changed a lot. But I think the initial character, her character, and the main character, those kind of stay the same.
Yeah. Okay, so we've hit the end. The forces have left to gather their resources for the coming battle. My hold upon these strange men have weakened, and they're wrapping their cloaks around themselves, attempting to go poof into the mist. To return where hence they came. Let them leave with a parting note. Bye-bye. Mom!
Oh, wait. I need the music. I need the Shishin Raku.
Hurry, Gilda! Hurry!
Come on, Gilda, hurry up.
Okay. Next week, it's time to put on a petticoat, don the top hat, put on a monocle and tighten up my corset. We are going to the ball hosted by the gentleman. I do hope I get to speak to that jolly handsome ex-inventor. And that marvellous ridiculous. This is Abby Rat, disappearing into the night. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.